disbelief in the afterlife. As such, a Satanist would work his whole life in achieving the most worldly pleasures he can, believing that this was the only life to live.
The fact that religions for thousands of years have been telling people what they should do and what they shouldn't do according to the basic whims of a person who might be running the show is very understandable. We're realists, we Satanists, but we also feel that a person has to be good to themselves before they can be good to other people. So we feel the greatest sin of all is self-deceit. This is a very selfish religion. We believe in greed, we believe in selfishness, we believe in all of the lustful thoughts that motivate man, because this is man's natural feeling. So what we've done is just reverse the procedure. Instead of trying to free ourselves, we've taken all these hang-ups, we've turned them into useful situations. If you're going to be a sinner, be the best sinner on the block. If you're going to do something that's naughty, do it. And realize that you're doing something naughty and enjoy it. I can pursue any kind of lustful desires that I might feel. I can engage in any activities that are so-called sinful activities and not really worry about any ecumenical councils making it right for me to do these things. We feel a person should be free to indulge in all of the so-called fetishes, all of the so-called aberrations that they would so desire.
So what is the link between Freemasonry and Satanism?
And on the back of the dollar bill, there's a seal on this side. It's called the Great Seal of the United States. What is behind the Great Seal of the United States is a pyramid with one eye. The Masonic Project, which is what they say on the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum, and then Annuetta Chapters, he is pleased with our project. In other words, the God they believe in is pleased with our project. What is the project? This is the question. What is the project that this God is pleased with? The project is literally the secularization of the world. To completely strip the world from religious beliefs. This is the project, and that is why it is called Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new secular or worldly order. If you translate that into Arabic, it would be a Nizam al-Alami ad-Dunyawi, the new temporal order, the new order of the world. And we know what dunya is in Arabic. Dunya has a negative connotation in Islam. Dunya is the illusory nature of the world. It's the gharura. It's the aspect of the world that deludes you, thinking that you're permanent, thinking that you can transgress, thinking that you're independent from Allah. This is the dunya. Dunya is the illusory element of the world. It's that element that takes people away from the akhirah. And this is Shaitan's game.
Perhaps with this in mind, it is interesting to know that many members of the Church of Satan are also members of Hollywood. One of the most prominent images of Satan used in this church is the goat-headed god, Baphomet. It is the head of Baphomet to which the satanic pentagram is designed after. It is also the spirit of Baphomet which is invoked when flashing the hand gesture of the devil horns. Could there be a secret link between our world leaders and Satanism?
Also in the street plan of Washington, you find pentagrams. What the Nazis did, however, was take the swastika and turn it round to indicate the negative. It's what they call reverse symbolism in Satanism. So what they do with the pentagram, which is why it's become a satanic symbol, is to turn it upside down, so it's pointing down. Reverse symbolism. It's the same with the dove, Semiramis. To the general population, the dove equals peace, love, and all this stuff. Reverse symbolism, the dove equals death and destruction. So here we have two pentagrams in the street plan of Washington. The top one points into the Capitol building, and the one at the bottom points into the White House. In the last century, they decided they didn't have a decent statue of George, so instead of getting an American to produce one, they ordered it from Italy, from Florence. And when it arrived on the dockside, people were staggered, because here was George, the first president of the United States, depicted naked from the waist up with this cloth over his Bill Clinton's, and then pointing up one arm, pointing down the other. What's going on? Unless you realize where these people are coming from, it's inexplicable. Well, if you just hold that in your mind, arm up, arm down, naked from the waist up, and then Bill Clinton's covered in a piece of cloth, well, this is where it's coming from. This is the ancient depiction of the compilation of the negative force symbol that the Templars worshipped, or the high-level Templars worshipped anyway, called Baphomet. And this is why they depicted George Washington in that way.
Aside from being the father of modern-day Satanism, Aleister Crowley was also the father of something else.
In September of 1924, Aleister Crowley was in France, allegedly having an affair with Miss Pauline Pierce.
She later left and went back home to America, where, 9 months later, she gave birth to her daughter, Barbara. Barbara, Crowley's daughter from lover Pauline Pierce, would later marry a man named George and change her last name to Bush. Together, they gave birth to George W. Bush. The grandson of Aleister Crowley. Being George W. Bush's grandfather from his mother's side, it seems that Aleister Crowley wasn't the only grandfather with dark ties. George W. Bush's grandfather from his father's side, Prescott Bush, was the first member of the family to be inducted into the secret society, Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones is a springboard for a young man to be brought in, trained, conditioned, imbued with these doctrines, and then placed into positions of power to carry out the agenda of the older secret societies.
The ratio of Skull and Bones members who go on to significant positions of power, either in front of the camera or behind it, is enormous. The Skull and Bones Society does not operate in isolation. It is a strand within the greater web, and an important one in America. Presidents are not elected by ballot, they are selected by blood.
A secret society with deep ties with the Freemasons and the Church of Satan. This position was inherited by his son, George H.W. Bush.
The Skull and Bones Society seems to be particularly important for bringing American elite bloodline young people into the web and being initiated into the web. The reason that it is so secret is because if the people of America realized what its elite presidents of the future get up to, they'd realize that they live in anything but the land of the free.
George H.